Hey guys, welcome back. Well, today we're finally going to get this MSA 220C put to work. So I have 3 AP300S batteries that we're going to see how many cuts we can get. So I'm going to be bringing up a bunch of logs today and getting them cut up. So I'll probably get some good time lapses on how long each battery lasts, give or take. I'm hoping with the 3 batteries I can get a lot cut up today. I mean, obviously I can be charging them as I'm cutting, but so yeah, we'll see how she does. I got it filled up with bar oil, so each battery should be good to go. I haven't charged them in a while, but they should be holding charge, yeah. So yeah, we'll see how she does. I mean, each log is roughly, I don't know, I'd say a foot in diameter, give or take, 12 to 18 inches. And I got a lot of them, so yeah, we'll see how she does, and I'll get a time lapse set up, and then I'll do a recap at the end, what I think of it, you know, the power wise, how long the batteries last. I mean, it's definitely going to be a learning curve, you know, compared to a gas saw. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll see how she does. Okay, as you can see, this is about wood that we cut today. So it's 2 rows here, roughly 5 feet, 4 feet tall. This was all done with that MSA 220, the battery operated saw. So it's pretty much the first workout it's got. So all of this I've cut today, even these little guys. All these small guys are going to go right in the boiler. But so it's a good amount of wood. I'd say it's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 5 face cords worth, so a good amount. It's pretty much all ash and then some maple in here, so it did pretty good. But I'll give you guys some feedback on what I really think and moving forward what I'm going to do. Okay, well, we definitely put her through the paces today. As you can see how much I just showed you guys how much wood that we actually cut. It's a good amount. So I do have some of the AP 200 batteries as well. I used some of those. I got 2 of those. So I used, as you can see in the time lapse I made, I went through the first AP 300F's batteries in that one grouping of logs alone. That's pretty much how long it lasts. So that was maybe, I don't know how much wood or how many cuts I did, but as you could see it in the video. It was all ash, a little bit of maple, pretty much 95% ash, so it's hardwood. I'd say feedback, I mean, it is really a standard homeowner saw. If I had to compare it to a saw, I'd probably say like one of my top handled saws, my 201. My 201 would blow the doors off of this, I guess you could say. You really can't put much down pressure on this saw. You know, it has that safety feature on the battery that'll just cut out. So you almost got to let it just cut on its own, which is kind of a standard thing to do. It just doesn't have that. I don't know if it doesn't spin the chain as fast as it would on a traditional saw, which I know it doesn't, but for what it is, for a 200, I don't know what I paid for this, 200 some dollars, it works. But to get a lot of production out of it, you're just not going to. I mean, you just can't cut fast enough with this. If the wood was much softer of a wood, like a maple or a box elder or a basswood, it's probably fine. But when you start getting into the hardwoods, it cuts it. And the amount of wood I just cut today is probably what the average homeowner is probably going to do in a couple years. And I did it in 4 hours today. So the batteries, so the AP 300 compared to the AP 200, the 300 definitely has, I guess you could say, more balls. It has more torque. It definitely lasts longer. And I even have the Stihl fast charger, and it still took a little longer than I expected to charge. I thought it was going to charge a lot quicker. So from the time I brought up more logs to seeing where the batteries were at, they still weren't, not even on the fast charger, it still wasn't fully charged. So that, production-wise, like I said, you're just down. It just doesn't cut as fast. The batteries take a long time to charge. And then not only that, you can't just take this battery and throw it on the charger because they're too hot. So they have to cool down before they will let them charge. And I think this picture on here actually talks about that. Yeah, doesn't say like a time-wise, but it shows like a temp gauge to a cool gauge before you can charge it. So it has some safety features built in, but all in all, it's a good saw. I mean, there's some drawbacks. I mean, there's some sawdust inside there, even when the battery's in there. So there's some, downfall to that. I'm going to have to clean it out from time to time because it's going to get gummed up in there. But for what it is, it's a good saw. It does go through the bar oil pretty quick. The reservoir is not very big, so I had to keep checking that because roughly a battery and a quarter, it's through a tank of bar oil, so you got to be careful with that, otherwise you're going to overheat the bar and chain and you're going to destroy the bar. So yeah, I think down the road, if I continue to use it the way I'm using it, I'll probably get a couple more batteries, but I don't know, we'll see. I used my 201 to kind of compare to this, and it cuts, I mean, it's crazy how much faster it is. But I think if you're just tooling around your property, cutting some smaller stuff, maybe I'd say anything with 6 inches and below, it does okay. You start getting into that 10 to 12 inch, it's the wrong saw. It just is. So anything that's from like here down, it did okay for a saw. I mean, I am just used to really big saws, and it's night and day difference. I mean, don't expect this to be anywhere near a normal gas saw. It just isn't going to do it. But for $200 for the home, get a couple batteries. It's very quiet. So if you got neighbors that are close or kids sleeping, you can't hear this in the house at all. I mean, you could go around a building and you can't hear it. So in that aspect, that's great. That's kind of the reason why I got this saw, because it's quiet. If I want to come out here and turn the lights on and cut, no one's going to hear me, which is great. I just wish the batteries would last longer, and that's going to be an ongoing battle with batteries moving forward, as we know. So yeah, I mean, so as far as that goes, it worked. It did what it needed it to. It just took a lot longer than expected. I should have got twice as much cut today than I did, but I wanted to put it through its paces, and I did sharpen the chain twice to make sure, you know, it's cutting as it should be. It's still pretty sharp, but I am cutting ash, and anyone who cuts ash knows what that does to your chains. So, but yeah, so all in all, I think it's well worth the $200 some. I mean, the 300S batteries are like $100 a piece, so I mean they're not cheap. So if you get one battery installed, it's like $300, I think. I'd have to look at the receipt, maybe $350. But for what it is, it's worth it. Do I prefer a gas saw? 100 times. I love cutting with my 500S or my 461. My 391 I would prefer over this. The 260 Farm Boss. You know, any gas saw that I know of would you know, beat this. And this is the biggest saw that Stihl makes battery as of right now. And that's why I purchased it, because I wanted to see, because eventually that's all they're going to make, and that's all you're going to buy. Hopefully that's a long way away, because you would have to have a battery bank of batteries and chargers to be able to keep up. So like I would never use this on a job site. I would be there for 3 days when it should have taken me a couple hours to cut stuff up. So but down the road, who knows? Maybe that's where it's going to be. So I hope not, because if that's the case, holy smokes, it's going to be a long rest of my life if that's what it's going to be. But all in all, I'd say it's a good saw. Do I prefer gas? Yeah. So yeah, if you guys have any questions on the saw, what I think of it, if I missed something that you guys want to know, just let me know. Send me a comment down below. Subscribe, because I'm going to be splitting a bunch of wood, and I got some, you know, good boiler stuff coming up. So, but yeah, as always, keep burning.